Many of the most successful entrepreneurs could be called accidental because the defining characteristic is saying why not when an opportunity presents itself instead of thinking about all the possible reasons something might not work. Trust is our comparative advantage. I mean, if you look at companies and innovators who, invent something or, design an app for an iPhone or something, that's their product. Our product is our ability to identify and invest in people we think we can trust that nobody else is willing to trust right now, and then empower them to kind of take control of their own finances going forward. So a Boda Boda is a motorcycle taxi. Unlike the other kinds that are more like rickshaws in Southeast Asia, you physically climb on behind the driver. It can be a very intimate experience, and they're a great way of getting around cities like Kampala, the capital of Uganda, because they can kind of zip through traffic jams, so you spend a lot less time stuck in traffic. And Own Your Own Boda started during late 2009. We had known several great Boda Boda drivers. One of them, Mehdi, who is now the manager of Own Your Own Boda, he and I met in 2006 outside of the Daily Monitor, and we became friends because another journalist recommended him as a safe driver with fair prices. In the summer of 2008, Mehdi took me to show me where his mom lived in a village about an hour from Kampala called Wakiso. Mehdi was very proud to display that he had purchased this plot of land with a small one-room brick house that he had also built, and he had been able to do that using savings from paying off a loan to own his own motorcycle. I had seen the impact that the ability to own your own tools in effect had for Mehdi. When I came back full-time in 2009, Mehdi was getting ready to finish his second loan. It turned out it was a pretty high interest rate, so we said, holy smokes, why aren't more people giving these loans? Do you have friends who want loans? And he said, yeah, everyone wants a loan. And we said, well, if we can find some money, can you pick the guys that we could then give loans to? And he said, sure. And he explicitly told us, these are not my closest friends, these are the guys that I think won't give us a headache. Everyone, especially my Ugandan friends, interestingly enough, said, don't do this. You can't trust these Boda guys, they're ruffians, they're gonna run away with the bike. And our answer was always kind of just, you don't know Mehdi. I mean, Mehdi's great. We know where his mom lives. I mean, he can't do anything like that. Sure enough, we had a really great repayment rate. We have had 25 loans completed. So in the next year, we want to reach 250 people in terms of active loans in order to build up our systems, refine what we're doing, and really increase our impact. Step one, we get a recommended Boda Boda driver, either from a favorite passenger of theirs or from somebody who has heard about our loans from another driver. We do some vetting, confirm a guy, put him on the waiting list. Then when we get enough money from our current loans coming in, we buy a new motorcycle. We match up the guy at the top of the waiting list. We buy insurance, passenger license, and basic metal guards to protect the motorcycle, and we send them on their way. Then they pay every week for about 16 months. When they finish paying, we happily hand over the registration book so that they become the official owner of their own Boda. We didn't think in advance of what might happen if guys started testing us to see what we would do if they didn't pay. And so eventually we did have to start learning how to impound bikes, and we have a 2-strike policy. So if you're not being serious, we'll impound the bike and then you can come get it back if you promise to do better. And then the second time, then we say, sorry, we have guys on the waiting list who will pay on time. But in practice, we think that the people who are most likely to be responsible, finish their loans, pay on time, are going to use the money well. And we did a poll of our first 18 guys when they finished, and the kinds of things people told us they were spending the savings on were paying higher school fees for their kids or putting them into better schools, building their own house. We don't want to tell them how to spend their money, but we think that giving them the ability to generate that savings and build up that capital and have a higher income if they keep driving the bike themselves is great. Over the long term, one of the best things about our model is that we can reinvest in the same guys. Through the Unreasonable Institute, we have already raised $30,000 in commitments, and we're on our way to the $300,000 in grants and accredited investment we need in the next 6 months. Our underlying value is that everybody deserves a chance to move forward, and not everyone's going to take advantage of it, but when we can find people who will, we want to give them rocket fuel. And for us, motorcycles were an accidental discovery that can be a literal vehicle to savings and higher incomes. But it doesn't have to be that. We got lucky that model presented itself, and we're going to maximize it.
My name is Michael Wilkerson, and I am unreasonable.